Okay, so well, once again, if you can hear me well, if everything is fine, we can start. We waited just a little, just a few minutes for those who were a bit late, and now we can definitely. I think we can definitely start. Um, well, openMAINT, probably a lot of people out there that are attending this webinar know it already. We are now achieving some great results with openMAINT. It's really going good. We really get a lot of feedback, positive feedback from our users and customers. It's really great, and this really makes us work even harder every day to improve the quality of the tool, its usability, and even some the technical aspects that are behind it that we will talk about today. Anyways, just as I said in every webinar, just make sure that any question you have while I speak, you write them down in the chat box right in the bottom part of the screen. We will get to them at the end of the webinar in like 45 minutes. We will get to them, and we will answer them immediately live. So I think it's a really great opportunity to ask us whether they're commercial questions or technical questions. Just feel free to do that. Um, all right. So during this webinar, we introduced a new element, I would say. Also, Anna, a girl from a colleague from our technical team. She's probably the most expert on openMAINT here that we have, and she's gonna also take part of this webinar. She will go into some more technical details about openMAINT, about what we developed lately, and she basically, yeah, she will have a more technical approach. So for all the technical folks out there, we'll just make sure you stay tuned and on until she speaks. So well, just last week I checked it right before the webinar. We had more than 1,000 downloads just in 1 week, and that's well, that's from SourceForge, of course. And as well, I think that's pretty amazing. I mean, 1,000 people out there in the world just in 1 week to download it, which makes around 38,000 since the very first release we had. It was like a bit more than 1 year ago, and this really shows a really great and increasing interest in our tool, and it's that makes us feel very good. It means that we are working in the right direction. The majority of the downloads come from the States. In the United States, that's 27, 28%. It should be, I checked before, and it should be around 28%. So it is, well, we're working hard for the American market. So, and this is shown by this data here. openMAINT, it is diffused everywhere, almost everywhere in the world. There's like, I just downloaded from SourceForge again, the download countries, and you can see there's 63 different countries. Well, of course, I didn't put the dots for every country, but you can see that it is really spread around the world quite equally, from Africa to South America, to Europe, of course, North America. So it is really spreading out pretty fast, and again, we're very, very happy about it. Today we will introduce the openMAINT 1.1 version, which is of course based on CMD build 2.4.2, which we presented during the last webinar we had, which was on the 14th of November. We're going to talk about the new QR code and barcode feature. We will then go into more details about the self-service portal. Then we're going to talk about improvements we did in the management of the maintenance failure workflow. We then will go also and talk about what we did on the refactoring of the schedule maintenance on a time basis. We will then implement, talk about the new implementation of the scheduled maintenance with the criteria that are now based on threshold. And then, just as I said before, we're going to go into the tech corner, so the technical corner. We're going to hear from Anna's voice, really what she and her colleagues did during the past month, working on all these technical aspects. It's going to be really interesting, I think. All right, so starting from the QR code feature, for all those who subscribe to our annual maintenance program, they get the openMAINT mobile app. The openMAINT app is not basically the only not open source part of the tool. So it is, fortunately, it's not. You cannot download it as an open source tool, but you get it only if you sign to our annual maintenance program. It is now possible I will show you later, to create a QR code for your asset, print it out from openMAINT, paste it onto your asset, and then scan it with the mobile app. I got a tablet in my hands, so I will just quickly show you how it works. Okay, so now I just opened the mobile app. Now there you go. I can surf through all the categories here, but the most important thing is the barcode reader. I got a fire extinguisher, which is right here close to me, and if I scan the QR code, I need to get a bit closer, basically. If I scan the QR code, it will immediately open up the related card, and I will get all the information right in my hand. So I know it's a fire extinguisher. It is red. It is CO2. It's dry power. I know the position. I know the data. I know the administrative data, the warranty, the installation data. I know a lot. I can get a lot of information about it, and right immediately just scanning it. So it is a great element. I mean, especially if you need to check when like the warranty or the maintenance. If you want to know before opening a maintenance ticket, if it is still under warranty or any particular information, you might want to link to the asset. Well, you can have it and store it in the QR code, and you open it up by scanning it, of course. So it is a great feature. We developed. It was already implemented, but now it is. We refurbished it a bit. We cleaned it up, and now it works just perfectly fine, and it is great, as you just saw. All right. So going on with the self-service portal. I will now just talk a little bit about the self-service portal and the new maintenance workflows we created with this new version of openMAINT, the version 1.1. And then I will sit down and get my hands on the keyboard, and I will share the screen with you and show you how openMAINT works, and about the self-service portal as well. All right, so I just need to. Now it should be better. Everything just black screen. All right, so there we go. Self-service portal. Well, basically, there's actually three interfaces in openMAINT. The first one is the mobile app. We talked about it already. I just quickly showed you how it works. The second one is the standard interface, and this is basically what the technical users work with, and they access to openMAINT through this standard user interface. The third one, which is very recent, is the self-service portal interface. So this is an extremely user-friendly interface through which the non-technical users can open maintenance request tickets. For example, they can read the news of the company, they can get alerts on particular events happening, or they just can visualize the tickets that they open, that are open, their status. They can get to know if the help desk already took care of it, or if they are still working on it, when's the due date, when they started working on it. They can get plenty of information about them. So for non-technical users, such as I don't know, tenants or leaseholders or landholders, or well, you know, all these people that they don't necessarily need to get into the standard interface of openMAINT, which is still, we worked hard to make it very user friendly, but is still you still need to get a little bit of practice to find all the elements where they are. Through the self-service portal, well, you can really make it look exactly like your company website, for example. And so it will just look the same, and the users just will go through it, and without even knowing that they are actually working on openMAINT. So it is extremely interesting. This was a request we had from a lot of users that they were telling us that they didn't really want, you know, the non-technical users to have access to the standard interface, because they would be a bit confused at first, and they wanted to, you know, to not to have any learning curve for them. They would just wanted to be to get into, go online and click open request a new ticket and get the and get that sent to the workers, to the workers team. So I mean, this is what we did, and I'm gonna show you in just a few seconds. Let me just close this topic. We did also some improvements in the management of the maintenance failure workflow. Of course, this is connected to the self-service portal, so in just a few minutes I will show you how a non-technical user can open a maintenance request ticket, and then I will show you what happens when the help desk receives it, and when the team worker receives the work order that is generated from the help desk. So we did several improvements in the workflow. Now it is way more straightforward and also easier to understand. We did this through some simplified forms. We kind of also moved the layout of the forms. We did some rewrote the messages, the notifications, the pop-ups that you get if you miss to fill out a field in the form, or it is now, we really worked hard to make it more user-friendly. Also now the working team get notification for every step of the workflow, so they know what has happened before and what's happening after they took care of that. Anyways, this is something that Anna is gonna talk about in greater detail in just a few moments. So we also worked on on an extended refactoring. We did some extended refactoring of scheduled maintenance on a time basis. Now you can in an extremely easy way select for a category of assets when you want your maintenance, your scheduled maintenance to be done. You can set every day, every hour. Well, it wouldn't make sense every hour probably, but every week, every 3 weeks, every month, every the first 3 months of the year, just in January, just in February, only on Sundays. You can even like select what happens if it's a holiday. So you need to anticipate the maintenance. You can really select in an extremely easy way. I will show you in a few minutes how easy it is to do. So the new algorithm that works now can either work on a preset calendar, as I just told you, or also on alarms or a threshold. If you, for example, if you got if you can make your asset communicate with the through a connector with openMAINT, then openMAINT can read, for example, the time that has passed since the last maintenance, and it can automatically create a work order for the maintenance team, telling them go and check that item because it's been already 1,000 hours that it has been on. So it now definitely need to be checked, just like what we do with the cars, with the vehicles. Same happens in this case. We got then, as I just said, the criteria that are based on threshold. So alarms can automatically trigger the schedule maintenance workflow, which also what you can also do is to schedule maintenance workflow, so that the work order goes to the working team every week. But in case there's an alarm and there's a problem, this operation is performed whenever the alarm turns on, and so in this case the tool will automatically send a notification either via email, or or text message to the working team. Okay, so what I will do now is I will just switch the webcam off. I'm going at the desk and get my hands on the mouse and the keyboard, and I will show you how this work in greater details. Okay, so all right, just let me share the screen with you guys. Just a few seconds. Okay, now now you should see it. You should see my screen here. It should just it should be okay. If everything's fine, then and just I don't see. Yeah, I'm not seeing the screen, so probably there's just okay. All right, so now it should work. Yeah, now you should. Yeah, definitely. All right, that's very good. Okay, so now I will this is the standard user interface. This is what the technical team sees, and this is what they get to when they what the non-technical users see when they have access to the self-service portal. So if I sign in, this is what a non-technical user would see. Of course, here you can customize with the colors of the screen. You can customize with the colors, sorry, of your company website. You can make it. You can make it look way more like your how you wish. I mean, of course, this one just a demo self-service portal, so we customize with our colors and logos and forms, but you can basically do whatever you want here. So as I said, you get news here. You would have some news of the companies. You can get reports. So for example, I can download as, for example, as PDF the energy rating of the here of the energy rating of the assets that I own. Well, in this case, it's just some bulk data, so it doesn't really make sense. But here I would have all the assets that belong to me and with the energy rating. Of course, I wouldn't. You can just set any reports here that the non-technical users can download. Uh, but the most interesting part, besides the home here, is you see a big button here. It is submit maintenance request. So by submitting a maintenance request, now I am Damian Garrett, and Damian Garrett needs to a maintenance request because let's say he just noticed that the fire extinguisher isn't properly working. So I would just fire extinct. I'm pretty sure I'm spelling extinct not working details. I can write any details if I wish. I don't have to, but it just I can do if I want. I want to make sure that this is due for next Monday. Due time, if I know it, I can write it down. Otherwise, I don't. I just can upload an attachment, let's say the picture of the problem of the tool of the asset that is not working, and then I just need to select in which apartment it is. For example, it is in this building here, and I will just click select it and then send it on. That's it. Now my request has been sent correctly, and then I will see it here. Fire extinguisher not working. It is through the I submitted to the channel. It has been in approval phase. Opening date today right now. I didn't set a priority, but now I will go back to the standard user interface. Now I'm not Damien anymore. I'm from the help desk. So I will just go on the maintenance processes, and I will go on maintenance request. I need to, yeah, now I will see right here that Garrett Damien has opened a request for an extraordinary maintenance request through the portal, and it is about the fire extinguisher not working. So he said it was critical, so I will definitely need to do something, and I can either reject. So if I think that this is not worth doing anything, I can just reject it and close the ticket. I can approve it and register work order, or I can approve it and continue with a work order generation. And this is the path that we're gonna take now, and we're just gonna create a work order for the team that will go and do the inspection on the fire extinguisher. So I will see. I can check what selected items I can. He's the guard Damien is talking about, so I know it is in this building right here. I can add any details if I want, and I will go on the email and see what's in outgoing. So Damien Garrett is gonna get an email saying that dear Garrett, your maintenance request has been registered with number blah blah blah. Of course, it's just a template. You can change it, and you can write anything you want. So I will click on advanced. Damien is gonna get the email saying that his ticket is. We took care of his ticket. I now need to input some more details so that the work order goes to the right working team. So let's say it is the service category we need is about those who take care of buildings, plant infrastructures. I would say maintenance and checkup for safety systems. Of course, again, this is something I forgot to say, but I really want to underline in every webinar we do is about the customized build, the possibility to customize the tool in every single aspect. So you can really change any of these lines here, just as it best fits your company. We really want the tool to be shaped around the user's needs and never the other way around. So you don't have to adapt your needs to the tool, but it's the tool that will definitely and easily adapt to your own own needs and problems. So in this team, in this service right here, we only registered one team, which is the team 01 for systems plan maintenance services. I can write any, I can select any contract if I have any that is loaded into the system. And of course, I can also set a priority. Damien didn't set any. I think it is critical that the fire extinguisher is not working. So we just the due date is the one that that Damien set. I think it is. I think they can do that for tomorrow. So the 2nd of December. I won't do the simplified work order operation. The simplified work order is just basically just means that the team that receives the work order can they can register the operations they did, and basically everything is then sent to them, and they will take it from there. But I don't want it. I don't want to take that path. I want to be the one following every step of the work order. So I will just I will untick the simplified work order. I will want to send the email. Yeah, I want to send the email to the team, and I will generate a work order. I will again select in which building it is. I could also have selected the room. I can get the granularity of the database as I want, of course, and I will click on advance. Now now it is going on. I can, if I want, I can add another work order. If, for example, I need the team to inspect the fire extinguisher, but at the same time also to inspect another element. I can add another work order, or I can finish the work order generation. So they will, the team will get an email. Sorry, saying that they need to go and check only the fire extinguisher that is not working. Okay, now I don't find the work order in the open maintenance request because it's not open. I don't need to do anything. Now it is now it is the working team that needs to act and do something. Okay, so now I am the working team. I'm not the help desk anymore. The working team receives just received a notification saying that they need to go and check the fire extinguisher. So now I'm acting as I was the worker from team 01, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, workers here, workers 2. Right before I was a help desk. Now I am worker. All right, so this is the one. Fire extinguisher is not working. Modify. Okay, I need to set a scheduled start date. They want the due date for tomorrow, the 2nd of December. I will do it on tomorrow, 2nd of December. Well, maybe not at midnight, but anyways, just an example. And of course, I'm accepting it. If I accept it, I'm forced, it's mandatory to set a scheduled start date. I can download the PDF of all the details that are the pictures, everything that is attached to the work order. I can just download a PDF and bring it with me in case I don't have my mobile app with me. So in case I cannot follow it, if there's no network or whatever, I can just download it and bring with me the piece of paper. Okay, so now I'm going there. I just said I did the operation. I checked the fire extinguisher, which was not working. I started on the 2nd of December. I need to input how much time I spent, diagnosis, solution, what I did, what happened, and execution notes. And I can either continue the execution, close it, or suspend it. If I need, for example, any spare parts which I don't have with me, I just put it on hold and suspend it. In this case, I will just close it. I went there, I checked. The emails are sent to the help desk saying that we did to take care of the work order, and we finished it on Friday, the 2nd of December. Tomorrow, the outcome was very positive. I'm not. All these elements are not mandatory. Again, the diagnosis, the solution, the downtime, if any, and closure note. If I need to, if I want to add any closure note. Of course, I can see here, download a PDF again, upload if I need. I want to upload an attachment of the picture, a picture, for example, or whatever else I wish to upload. So now I will go back with the help desk. I'll just refresh, and I will see that the work order is, I need to basically, I need just to approve and say that, yeah, okay, the working team has done what they needed to do, and that they can get I can close the ticket. So outcome positive. Closure notes, there is not any. I can send an email to Damian saying that we checked. Thank you for notifying that. We just checked, and the fire extinguisher is working. Now I don't have it. I don't see it anymore because the ticket is closed, and Damian has just received an email saying that it was everything was fixed. So this is just how the workflows for the maintenance works. It could be also, you can change the path of this workflow. You can double check if you, for example, you can set that a supervisor must approve the execution of the work, or you can really add any step to your own work order process. Quickly, before letting Anna speak, I just wanted to let you see some features we talked about. These are the preventive maintenance activity library, which collects all the maintenance activities, preventive maintenance activities, so preventive or scheduled maintenance activity. So you can set for which group of objects this applies, when you need to do it. For example, this is all the work order object, the description, and when it is scheduled. So now you know exactly when all these activities are scheduled at what time, and I can also there's now, I know that these two activities, the schedule activities that are set, and this is the calendar. Of course, I can add a new one. I can change the instruction. I can view the calendar, so I know that on the 19th there's gonna be a 3 p.m. fire extinguisher. I can jump to any date. I can go on with the other months, on the 16th again. So it is really also a very quick way to check when the maintenance is due. In this case, we're talking about checking the pressure for a boiler. So I can get a lot of information just here, and it's extremely easy to generate a new calendar, or to consult it to see when the inspection is due. Well, as I said, this could work about on a time basis or on alarms or threshold. So just I think that Anna is going to talk about it in just a few seconds. Let me see if Anna can hear us. Anna?
Hello?
Can you hear us?
Yes. Yes, perfectly.
All right, very good. Well, Anna, I will just give you the floor.
Uh-huh.
So the mic is yours. You can go on, and well, we will hear some more technical details. I just spoke about the functionalities. Maybe you could get into more technical details. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks Francesco for introducing me. So, the purpose of my presentation today is just to go into some more details about the preventive maintenance mechanism, both the time-based and the meter-based one. So, let's just start looking at this diagram that shows the overall algorithm of the preventive maintenance. So in the first step here, the user creates the library of the maintenance activities. So basically they have to define what has to be done, who will carry out the activities, what are the objects of the activities, how much they will cost, how much time they will require, and so on. Then, for each activity, the user can define one or many scheduling criteria with the possibility of mixing time-based criteria and meter-based criteria. So you can have both of them on the same activity. For the time-based activities, the user is also asked to decide for which period of time he wants to generate the calendar at that moment. For instance, today, which is the 1st of December, a user may want to generate the calendar for the first semester of next year. And this, of course, can also be scheduled to be periodically done by the system, or you can launch the calendar generation manually. This is your choice. On the other hand, for meter-based activities, basically what you have to do is register the meter readings, and this can be registered manually by a user or better, automatically by a connector with, for instance, a control unit. Then a background process will monitor the calendar and the meter readings, and then generate the work orders at the appropriate time. That is, so when the frequency defined for the time-based activities is met, or when a meter reading matches the threshold criteria defined for a meter-based activity. So this is the overall mechanism. Then now let's go into some more details. The calendar generation algorithm asks as input parameters the activities and the period of time for which the calendar must be generated. So these two input parameters. In this example, for instance, I have defined an activity that must be done every other week, so 14 days. Only during the summer, so from May to September at 7 a.m. in the morning. And this activity is just enabled from the 1st of May on. And let's imagine that we want to generate the calendar for all next year. This means that the system will read the start time, the start date, and the end date defined on the record of the scheduling. And if the end date is not defined, like in this case, as an end date, we just take the input parameter given to the calendar generation process. Then, starting from the start date, the system generates a sequence of dates that are those defined here, with the appropriate frequency and stopping at the end date configured before. So these are all the dates that are generated. Then, once the dates are generated, on this date we apply a sort of mask, which will remove all the dates that do not match the month's configuration. So in this case, all dates in October, November, and December are removed from the sequence. As a result, the entries that will be inserted in the calendar are just those that are shown here in yellow. And they will put here in the maintenance calendar with the appropriate start date for the work order. So this is a sort of preview of the work orders for this activity and for next year. The calendar can be regenerated anytime. For one activity or for all of them. So you can relaunch this process as many times as you want. For instance, because you change your mind about some details of an activity, or if the frequency criteria needs to be updated. So you can just relaunch the process and all the entries in the calendar will be updated. Of course, if the corresponding work orders have not started yet. Another detail that I want to stress is that you can define multiple criteria on the same activity, and these criteria will be interpreted with an AND condition, not an OR one. So for instance, if two schedulings are defined for the same activity, so for instance, a monthly scheduling and a weekly scheduling, then, for instance, in this example, the system will generate 5 entries for every month. So the scheduling are interpreted with an AND condition. Then, as a last step of this process, once the calendar is generated, there is a background process that monitors the calendar and fires the work order execution when the starting date minus the possible lead dates is in the past. Then, once the work order is generated, it follows exactly the same flow that Francesco showed you before for the corrective work orders. There is also another possibility about these time-based schedulings. That is, you can allow a sort of flexible scheduling. This configuration allows the date of a work order to be postponed if the previous work order was late. So, for instance, if you have some work orders scheduled for the 1st, the 15th, and the 29th of May, and the first one, for instance, is 4 days late, then the following work orders will be moved, for instance, to the 19th of May and the 1st of June. And you can enable this, behavior just using this field, which is called rescheduling policy on the maintenance activity. So this rescheduling can be disabled if you want the dates never to change, or you can allow the rescheduling based on the start date of the last work order or on the end date of the last work order. Moving on to the next section, let's take a look at the meter-based activities. So first of all, you have to define a library of meters. Meters can be of 2 different types. They can be continuous meters, so those meters for which the red value will always increase. Think, for instance, about the running hours of a system or the year's life of a lighting system or something like that. And the other type are gauge meters, for which the red value can both increase and decrease, like for instance the pressure of a boiler. For defining a meter-based activity, you must define, of course, the meter that this scheduling refers to, and then you will define a delta value for the continuous meters or a threshold value for gauge type meters. And then, as I said before, you have, of course, to register the readings for these meters for each object. Then, for the continuous meters, the algorithm of the work order generations gets the current reading and compares it with the reading at the moment of the last work order execution. If the difference is greater than the configured delta, then the work order is generated. Otherwise, of course, there is nothing to do. On the other hand, for gauge type meters, the algorithm is a bit simpler, because the algorithm just checks if the current reading is over the configure threshold, and if it's greater, then the work order is triggered, and if no, then the system has nothing to do. So this is how the meter-based work orders are generated. Okay, that's all. I hope that now these mechanisms that are beyond the scheduled work orders are a bit clearer. And I think I can hand over the floor to Francesco again.
Hello. Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Anna. It was very interesting. I would like to thank you. Thank you very much for attending this webinar. It was nice to see so many of you today as well. Just as we do every webinar, it's really great. It's really a great pleasure for us. I would invite you to stay tuned on all the news that come up about openMAINT on our socials. Don't forget to subscribe to the newsletters. If you didn't, you always get every 2 months. You get a newsletter with a case study with all the new features that are coming up, and so don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter. In 2 weeks, we're gonna have another webinar. It's gonna be about CNMD build ready to use our IT our solution for the IT assets management. The whole video of webinar of today's webinar will be uploaded on the net. So on the net, and you will also get the link to rewatch it, and maybe some technical aspects were not, maybe Anna was just going a bit too fast, or I was. You can rewatch it and have a better understanding of it. Okay, that's it for today. I wish you a very good evening or day, and I will see you in 2 weeks. Ciao, ciao.